Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the Overflow. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, and I'm under threat of snow and ice.
Snow and ice in the south.
Snow and ice in the south. This ain't like snow and ice in the north, where, it's no big deal. Snow and ice in the south means everybody freaks out, everybody suddenly loses the ability to drive, and everything in the grocery store is gone, especially milk and bread, because, as is customary in the south, you eat milk sandwiches when it's snowy outside.
Oh, gotta love it. Yeah, it's been pretty much like we've had a layer of snow here in the north for like the past 2 weeks. So it's a good thing I work from
Lucky
home
you.
now, or else I'd have to deal with it.
I know, right?
But speaking of which, have a great article that probably will be out on RT by the time that people start seeing this video. I did some investigation
Excuse me.
into a petition that was put together by a woman from a Christian organization asking for Pornhub to basically be penalized and such for aiding it, well, sort of basically being completely and totally indifferent to human traffickers' use of their site.
Oh, yes, that's right. Because they got busted for, I think it was a couple of companies that were
That were,
actually posting videos there, yet that were involved in human trafficking.
yeah, human
And
trafficking, rape, and a
as in
few
some of
other
the,
things.
some of the models there were trafficked.
Yeah,
Like that's
exactly.
what makes it even more fucked up.
Yeah. Not to mention, and this is something that was pointed out during the course of the interview, and I verified it. Dude, their process for verifying amateurs is a fucking joke. It's the
Yeah,
same as
I'm
Reddit's
not surprised.
verifications. As in,
Yeah,
it's a
I'm not.
photo of you with a piece of paper. Meaning, if you're a
Yeah,
16-year-old that looks like an 18-year-old, they're not checking your ID
yeah,
at all.
yeah.
And yet you could be
I'm
part
not
of their,
surprised.
their partner program? Fuck off.
I'm not surprised.
Like, this, it's fucking disgusting. So, as a journalist, I'm trying not to take sides, but I'm calling it like I see it, and that's
Yeah,
ridiculous. You
yeah.
know, from what I've been told by, for those who don't know, I've had interactions with a couple adult actresses, and
Hmm.
talked to them about a
As have
couple
I.
of things. Yeah,
As
and
have
one
I.
thing that you get from them is oftentimes the biggest ones. They test you constantly. They check your ID, so on and so forth, so that whenever you're doing what you're doing between two consenting adults, you are safe, at least as safe as it
Hmm.
gets. And this sort of thing from a company that is one of the top 10 ranked in the world, and like I think like the number 3 porn site in the world, like there should be
I think
a
it
level.
might be number one, actually.
Last I checked it was 3, which was yesterday. But those sorts of numbers they're so tight, they pun totally not intended, they tend to fluctuate per day. So the fact of the matter is that it's, there's legitimate gripes there, and I think that the case put forward by the woman who's doing this is pretty solid from the verifications I've done, because their algorithms and things like that were even tested by left-wing sites and found wanting. It's
Hmm.
not a left versus right thing here. This is a problem. So there's a lot of investigation that I'm doing into that, and into porn culture and the effect that it has on people and things like that. And I also plan on doing articles on NoFap, and probably trying to talk to the founder of that as well, to kind of because he's involved in a major lawsuit, and apparently porn companies have made his life a living hell. So
Hmm.
I want to know the story behind that. I want to know what's going on. I want to know how this got to this point, because some of this stuff is kind of disturbing, to say the least. You know, so keep an eye out for that. If RT keeps me around for a while, I think that I've got a lot of really good stuff. Um, it's not what I thought that I was going to be covering, but I'm really liking what I'm covering so far. It's pretty cool
Hmm.
stuff. Not to mention that Jussie Smollett article I did was pretty spicy,
Uh, Jesse Smollett.
but people
Hopefully,
really liked it. So
hopefully he's going to get what he fucking deserves.
agreed.
Legally, not obviously
Joker.
this is not
Yeah.
a call to, yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into the questions. I do want to apologize to everybody for the second live stream getting pulled. I have put in for it for the clip to be pulled off. It still has not finished processing. Basically, apparently, it has to get approval by the copyright owner that it's okay with it being clipped. So next time, and this is just the future.
Nonsense.
I understand you guys want to hear what I am watching. You can't, because that's what's triggering the copyright. You're just gonna have to take my word that we're watching it. So
the freaking audio, the audio of all things.
Yeah. So
Ugh.
sorry, we're gonna have to go back to the way we did it before, where you guys didn't see shit. And I'm sorry about that, but we can't just keep getting copyright struck like that.
We'll probably get like mods to post the links to the stuff in the chat, just so you know what we're watching, and if you want to like watch along or time it, whatever, you have that option.
Yes.
I know it's kind of complicated and stuff, but that's really all we can do at this point.
Yeah. So I do apologize for that, but that's just kind of the way that it is. I've considered simulcasting and looking into simulcasting in case that sort of thing happens. It's something for us to consider for the future, definitely, if we're going to do the content that we want to do. I don't want to go to DLive, but Twitch would definitely be an option, because at least the live audience could catch it, and then for the replays, it's just muted. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Hatman, as always, partner, I'll let you pick. What are we starting with this week?
Well, heads is politics, tails is entertainment. Heads is politics.
All right.
Queen Elizabeth does not lie.
Let's get into it. Cooper's Revenge Holmes says, if the left's ideas can only look good if literally no other ideas exist, what does that say about them? Nothing good.
They're bad ideas.
Yeah.
They're bad ideas.
Yeah, exactly. And that's and this is kind of a quick answer, but again, for me, it just harkens back to the whole quote from Tyrion Lannister in A Song of Ice and Fire is, if you cut out a man's tongue, all you're showing is that you're afraid of what he might say.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Brian Gilmartin says, what do you think about certain SJWs saying that the climate change movement is too white and it's not about climate?
Yeah. There's some people that are using it to try and facilitate what's called environmental justice, because they claim that it disproportionately affects people of color. Be it pollution in inner cities or, exploitation of third world countries and all that shit. It honestly, it's trying to pull the progressive stack into an issue where the progressive stack is otherwise irrelevant. Yeah. So it's nonsense as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. It's a scam, in my opinion. I'm not saying the climate isn't changing, or it's never changed, or da-da-da-da-da. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the climate movement is a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme.
This whole Extinction Rebellion thing, fuck that.
No, these people are crazy. The world is not ending in 12 years. Shut up.
No.
They're no different than the doomsday cults from back in the day that said that Revelation was happening in 1990, or whenever the year it was.
Tell him to look up what Nostradamus had to say about climate change. Same shit.
There you go. Leonardo Juan wants to know, have you heard that a Bernie supporter who tried to run a Trump stand with his truck while he goes to jail? I think he means run over.
Yeah, that was Florida, wasn't it?
Yeah, and again, crazy Bernie supporter, not surprising these days.
No.
Eclectic 1995 asks, I heard from somewhere that communism could only work in medieval times. What are your thoughts on this? No, it doesn't work ever.
Communism, the only way that you could actually get it to work, and we're talking like stateless communism, like anarcho-communism, which is the true version, would be in tribes.
Yeah.
Small fucking tribes. And that is basically an impossibility with the world as, well, globalized as it is now, and also with the population being as large as it is.
Yeah. One thing that One thing that's constantly claimed by the alt-right is that the old method of the kibbutz from the Jews was communist, and that's where communism came from, which, by the way, no, that's not how Marx came up with it, nor did Engels. No. That's not what brought that stage of thought around. But the Jews, we abandoned the kibbutz structure. I say we like I had anything to do with it, but we abandoned it, a long time ago. So what does that tell you? It doesn't work. It just doesn't on massive scales. Like, if you're going to have a small community, be as socialist as you want, but, large scale, like an entire nation, no, fuck off.
Yeah, no, you won't be able to do that. Casual reminder, by the way, that the Communist Manifesto was a direct response to the Industrial Revolution.
Yes.
So
take philosophy in its context. It's not created in a vacuum.
There's your history lesson for the day.
Yeah.
Or history fact, rather.
Alpha Incel wants to know thoughts on the 2 dead dolphins being discovered in Florida with bullet and knife wounds. I reckon it was street sharks or Florida man. It's always Florida man. You kidding me? Florida man is a threat to society.
Street Sharks, the old animated series?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Never thought I heard that name again. No, clearly it was the Japanese.
This is true. Because fuck you, dolphin, and fuck you, whale. Tyler Jorgensen wants to know, did you hear about the SAS Airlines and their bullshit ad claiming that Scandinavia has no culture? Yes, I did see that. That is ridiculous. Every nation has a culture.
I just had to approve a post on Reddit about that today, and yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, it's a total line in bullshit. There's no anything to it, to be honest with you. It's the people constantly say that it's absolute nonsense. It's lefties trying to, they think that that's how you're going to get your We Are the World bullshit. It's like, no, don't do that. Don't try to eliminate people's culture. They will rebel against you every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Black Knight Rex wants to know, why do people pride themselves as skeptics, support Bernie to the point of ignoring his various flaws, to the point of calling people heartless capitalists like Shoe on Head does? Well, they're supporting a socialist. What do you expect?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They were lefties beforehand and have stuck to that. So it's not so much a skeptic movement thing. Though because I was going to say, unless you want to talk about atheism plus, but they are not in line with the whole skeptic movement or skeptic community.
Yeah.
That is a very separate fucking community.
Very. Because a lot of things about the skeptic community on YouTube were formed in a response to atheism plus.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a left libertarian thing almost. Not so much leftist. But
well, I would argue more culturally libertarian than politically.
Yeah, well,
I would never call
absolutely.
TJ Kirk a libertarian. No fucking way.
No.
That dude,
No,
God
well,
is his
why the
God. Our
designation
government
is
is his God. And he will never admit it, but it's
Yeah.
the truth. Government is TJ Kirk's God.
Yeah.
And then I would say the same thing about Armored Skeptic and Shoe. Is that government is their God. And they
Yeah,
are skeptical
I would say so,
until
too.
government gets involved. Then you should have faith in the government. You should celebrate the government. You should worship the government, and never question the government ever. Unless a Republican's in it, and then question it all day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's
the
generally
DMV
my
every
issue
Sunday.
with
That's your
skeptics in general. If you want an actual atheistic skeptic, find a libertarian one.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually skeptical of everything.
Penn Jillette.
Yes.
there you fucking go.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
Watch Penn and Teller's bullshit. There's your skeptic right there.
Yeah, that's skepticism. And Matt and Trey Parker would be another good example.
Yeah.
Or Matt Stone and Trey Parker, I should say.
Yeah.
And that's generally my problem. It's like, if you're going to call somebody a heartless capitalist, you're basically trying to say that capitalism by its own nature is heartless, which I think is bullshit. Capitalism isn't one or the other. It can be heartless, but that's based on the attitude of the person, not based on the system itself.
Mhm.
You know, I would say that, like, I mentioned the Pornhub thing earlier. The people who are the head of that site clearly are heartless. They don't give a fuck.
Mhm.
You know, and
Yeah.
it leads them to do some pretty evil shit. But claiming that everybody's like a heartless capitalist because they want, independence from government, no, fuck you.
No.
It's not heartless, and I genuinely wonder. It's like, I know that Shu and Armored Skeptic each probably make 6 figures off of YouTube. When they donate 70% of their money to causes, or they give it away in taxes, then call me up. Until then, they can both shut up.
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah, you're not a heartless capitalist if you don't want to pay a ton of fucking money in taxes.
Yeah.
No.
Keep in mind, though, that on Twitter, Shoe on Head got bodied by Ben Shapiro and hasn't recovered since. Oddly enough, on the exact same subject. YouTube skepticism, folks, is not a substitute for actual intelligence.
Not typical.
Mostly because, like, most of the skeptic community that I've interacted with, especially, like, the main names, which was, like, Armored Skeptic, Sark, Carl. Well, Carl's a fairly smart guy. I don't think he's as smart as some of his fans would say he is, but he's clever enough.
Yeah.
And then TJ Kirk, I would say, is an idiot. And then who was the fourth one? Is Thunderfoot.
Oh, Thunderfoot. There we go.
Yeah, and Thunderfoot is a very smart guy, but has a blind spot towards religion based on, his own biases that he refuses to get over,
and
honestly examine.
And some in politics, too.
Yeah, and politically as well. So it's because he's very, very stubborn, basically. All right, entertainment time.
All right, good stuff.
So, Swordsman 100, we missed one last week, so we're going to get this one in. He gets a couple questions. He says, regarding last week's Cthulhu tabletop, how would you do a world where angels, demons, and eldritch abominations exist? Read Project Lazarus. It's going to be a lot of answers to questions. And then he asks, what DC villain would you have fight Venom, and why?
Bane.
No, because that would be a curb stomping.
I think it'd be funny. Venom versus Venom.
Yeah, both characters have been played by Tom Hardy as well.
That's even better.
Batman villain, Clayface, I think would be more interesting.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Let's see. Ugly Media says, we all believe that Joss Whedon sucks, yes? That said, do you guys like his works like Firefly or Angel? Angel had its moments. Firefly I did like.
Firefly's
Serenity was a good movie.
Yep. I liked Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, believe it or not.
Yeah, I actually, to this day, will catch myself singing Brand New Day while I'm cooking.
Good song. Good song.
Yes.
Yeah. And I like the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, the first Avengers movie is pretty good. The second one's not too bad either. It's just he kind of Whedoned up Ultron a little too much. If he hadn't done that, then I think that people would view that movie a lot more positively than they do.
I think a lot of it was unfulfilled. I really, really liked the idea of Ultron in the whole God comparisons.
Yeah.
Almost like he was having a God complex, but it was left unfulfilled. It didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah. I think that one, I really want them to bring Ultron back. Honestly. Find a way to bring him back. And that's something I think that again, has been a mistake that Marvel has made, is killing off all their villains. Yeah. Just this idea, because if you want this franchise to go on for as long as they do, you're going to need recurring villains, Don't stop killing them off all the time.
I think the introduction of the multiverse is going to open enough doors where they can bring some of them back.
Yeah, because the rumor is they're bringing Quicksilver back.
Yeah.
Which is good, because the guy who plays him is awesome.
Yeah. I find it supremely hilarious that I think his name is Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yes.
He and Elizabeth Olsen were a married couple in the first
In the
Godzilla
Godzilla
movie,
movie, yeah.
and then and then they play twins in the MCU.
Yes. But no, I have a feeling that honestly, the sleeper from the trailers I've seen, the sleeper of all the Disney Plus shows that are going to be coming out is going to be WandaVision.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the sleeper. I think that's the one everybody's sleeping on, but it's going to end up being really good.
Yeah.
Which it looks to me like it's going to pull a little bit from Tom King's Vision book. Which, guys, I understand that a lot of people don't like Tom King. Prior to Batman 50, he was legitimately probably the best writer in comic books. Mm-hmm. And Vision was a ridiculously good series. So it's a 12 issue series that he did that was just top notch.
Didn't he write Mr. Miracle too?
Yeah, he did. Mr. Miracle fell apart at the end, but was good up until issue 9. I think that something about Tom, like, just sort of, I think he was probably a victim of his own hubris.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it seemed like the more popular he got, the lower quality his writing became.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that happens sometimes. Brian Michael Bendis was the same way. You know, and the difference is that Bendis has never recovered. I'm hoping Tom King does, because he has a lot of potential.
Yeah, well, Bendis
has a very high opinion of himself.
Bendis is the kind of person that wants to make sure that he has left a tangible mark on whatever he gets his hands on.
Yeah, whether for good or ill.
He is the living embodiment of the "you made this, I made this" meme.
Yes, he really is. Which in some cases it has worked. A lot of cases it has not. Worked for Daredevil. Did not work for everything else.
Superman.
Yeah, his Superman is probably... It's now being considered one of the worst Superman runs of all time. And rightfully so, because it is fucking awful.
Mm-hmm.
They took, like... Superman was selling almost double under the last creative teams before him. Now it's just selling like shit. And DC isn't going to pull him off the book because they don't want to admit they were wrong in hiring him.
Yeah.
He was a lame duck at Marvel. He should have just stayed there. Honestly.
Yeah, doesn't that say something that the A-lister of A-listers fucking isn't selling?
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Daniel Garza wants to know thoughts on Project Melody, the e-girl on Chatterbait who's using motion capture to look like an anime girl and is triggering thoughts because a machine is taking their jobs.
What?
So, was this what Andrew Yang was talking about? Look, I have no sympathy for anybody in the pornography business at this point. And I don't mean to be a holy roller when it comes to that, but that's fucking hilarious. I mean, I hate to say this, but Japan has proven there's a lot of money in lonely otakus. You know? So, I guess kudos to her for using the market.
Holy fuck.
You never heard about this?
I've never heard about this. Valentine's Day, stream accumulating approximately 30,000 simultaneous views.
Yes. Made a lot of money.
Recording of the stream has over 73,000 views of Pornhub.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts. I will say
attracting kids? What the
citation needed on that
one. It's attracting kids. As if fucking no teenager who's horny enough on fucking line has lied about their fucking age to watch some porn.
Yeah, no
seriously?
Kidding, right? Here's my thing. And I'm gonna get into the feminism angle here. Ladies, you know that something is going wrong when people would rather watch an anime chick get naked than you. Just saying. Maybe it's time you started treating men better.
I mean, how many fucking waifu bait anime exists?
Too many, in my opinion. I mean, again, my personal thing, like my personal solution to that is exterminatus, as we all know. But at the same time, yeah, just it doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't. Like I've seen back in my porn watching days, like a good amount of cam girls were like full on lefty bitches, you know, and it's like, man, this is just like part of the reason that I'm getting away from it is that like I just look at this stuff. I'm like, man, people in this area honestly treat their fucking customers like pay pigs, you know, and it's like this, you know, these people are just terrible people, like almost all of them.
I can't get over just like the technical specifications of this, you know, using mocap for it. Like this is opening the Pandora's box, y'all.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you thought deep fakes were bad? Oh shit.
Well, I'm just saying right now, the one thing that feminists need to fear the most are what Japan is doing with VR waifus and this sort of shit. And I'm being dead serious. Like that and the inevitable sex robot. Like, y'all are going to have to compare, like, you're going to have to compete with that. And the last thing that you need to be saying is men are bad. No, men look for companionship. Men look to love. We do.
There's a reason why you hear all those stories about men at strip clubs just buying dances to talk with people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If your man comes home and the first thing that you're thinking is not, hi, honey, how was your day? It's thinking, honey, you better take out the trash right now because I am this and I am that and I'm tired. Like, I hate, look, I'm going to be blunt because this needs to happen. This is part of the reason that my marriage fell apart is the way that it should be, you should think of it as this. When men go out to work, when men do their daily grind, we go out there basically in armor. It's heavy, it's tiresome, and we're fighting for 8 hours a day to make sure that you have a roof over your heads. When we come home, we need somebody to take that armor off of us and help us relax and help us get ready for the next day. Emotionally, physically, everything. Obviously, he should be taking care of you too. But that's not what I'm talking about, because that's obviously what he's trying to do. There needs to be some level of appreciation on both sides for what you both do to bring to the relationship, to bring to the family. If you are looking at him like a trained dog, that is not the way to look at a relationship, and that's why these things succeed. Feminism, in my opinion, has ruined the marriage. It has ruined this sort of thing, this me attitude. It's not about just you anymore. It's not about just him anymore. It's about both of you intertwined, creating something brand new. You know, and that's why I encourage a lot of young people. It's like, if you're going to get into a relationship, you both better start going to church. Because that's gonna teach you what the true nature of these relationships and what was intended by God. You know, if you're a believer and you're not going to church with your girlfriend, you need to, honestly. All right. Now that I'm been doing that, let's do some debauchery. Tyler Jorgensen says, and this of course is totally humorous, is Tyler Jorgensen asks, kill, fuck, or marry, succubus, elf, or dampier. Okay, so this is a bad list, and because if you were to have sex with the succubus, you are the one who dies, so that's the obvious kill. You know, Morgan from Darkstalkers might be quite the looker, but she will eat you. Whoa, here she comes. Watch out, boys, she'll chew you up. Whoa, here she comes. She's a man-eater.
And here I am just thinking of the succubus from fucking Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, that's another good example. But no, so that leaves the elf and the Dampier, meaning that if you marry one of them, you're going to die and they're not. So the question is which one is more likely to divorce you when you're 80 years old and take all your shit? In which case, I have no answer to this question.
The elf, probably. Because racism.
Fair point. Yeah, I'm marrying the Dampier. I mean, having a wife that's hot until the day I die, and the only price is she has to bite you in the neck on occasion, I can live with that. Angry Green Boss wants to know, have you ever heard of the bands Timeless Miracle and Brothers of Metal? Nope. If they're power metal bands, that's why. I don't listen to much power metal. I listen to Beast in Black, I listen to Sabaton, and that's about it. And even then, I'm not the biggest fan of either of them. Though, The Last Stand is legitimately one of the best metal albums I've ever heard. Blood of Bannockburn is the shit. So is, obviously, the song The Last Stand, because it's about knights. Kale Bach wants to know, if I was in the Emperor's position, or well, if either of us, when he was founding the Imperium, what would you do? I would completely and totally wipe out the space commies. That would be first priority. Just get rid of all of them. No mercy.
If I were the Emperor, well, I think my exterminatus button would be a bit more effective.
All right. Cackle Atrophy wants to know, thoughts on YouTube's algorithm taking down a bunch of VTubers because it couldn't tell them apart. What is a VTuber?
So basically like Project Melody, but for YouTube.
Oh, like the Kitsuna AI and stuff like that.
Yes.
Racists.
Yeah. Racist, and also how fucking dare you treat robots in such a way?
Yes.
How could you do this?
Look, YouTube,
You will be the
if
first to die
Skynet
in
happens and you
Uprising.
guys are the first victims, all we're going to say is we told you so.
No, not Skynet. The Second Renaissance.
Second. Oh, right, Matrix.
Yes.
Had to think about that for a second. For some reason, my brain wanted to go to Ghost in the Shell. But I'm like, no, that's not the Second Renaissance.
No, not quite. Not quite.
Though, dear God, the Matrix pulls so much shit from Ghost in the Shell, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Like I said, close, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I recently started rewatching Standalone Complex, and it's still freaking great.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched like a couple of episodes, but... Okay, Bob Fetta wants to know, who would win in a fight, Ghost Rider or Cthulhu? I don't know, but I want that as a Frank Frazetta style painting. I might actually commission Preston Acevedo to do that for me sometime. That sounds like a fucking badass, like just like still image of not Danny, because Danny's not as cool as Johnny, of Johnny riding off of a cliff like downward towards Cthulhu with his chain in the air, as Cthulhu is like reaching up towards him. I have no clue, honestly. I don't know if Hellfire would hurt Cthulhu. You know? I really don't know. I couldn't answer that, to be honest with you. I would lean towards the Ghost Rider right now because right now he's the king of hell. So, I don't know. Spurgzilla wants to know, have you heard of the Japanese live-action franchise called Garo? I think it'd be up your alley. No. I have not. I know Garo, Mark of the Wolves, but that's a Fatal Fury game. Let me look at this real quick. Oh, wait a minute. I've seen the animation of this. I didn't know it had a live-action adaptation. No, I've been watching Vanishing Line recently, and it's pretty interesting. I need to finish it, actually, oddly enough. But no, I've seen a little bit of Garo. I just, the live-action Japanese stuff doesn't really appeal to me. You ever heard of this, Hatman?
No, I can't say I have.
There you go. Torin90 wants to know, have either of us seen Transformers Prime? It's the best Transformers series.
That's the one I'm thinking of. No, that's not the one that I'm thinking of. I thought this was the Transformers series that was airing in the early 2000s, but no. No, I have not seen this.
It looks like it's kind of artistically based on the Bayformers. Which, right out of the gate, kind of turns me off to it a little bit. Because I'm not a big fan of that art style.
Yeah.
But I've heard of it, never watched it.
Yeah. I was never a huge Transformers fan. The one that I remember keeping up with, even though I don't remember a damn thing about it now, was Beast Wars.
Yeah, Beast Wars was fun. Lesbinator. I can't do his impression of him anymore. But, yeah, Beast Wars was pretty fun. Let's see here. Leonardo Juan wants to know, thoughts on the anime series Gintama. It's an anime that is about what would happen if Deadpool made an anime. That's the one that basically got us copyright struck, so fuck Gintama. And fuck the studio that runs it.
Yeah, I've heard of this. I haven't watched it.
Yep.
Nope. No Gintama for me.
Alright, and finally we have a really good literary question. Brian Gilmartin wants to know, why is it that when people write deconstructions, they make every fucking character fundamentally broken? Seriously, if I wanted to see such people, I'd visit my estranged mother. Damn. So, the big thing, the reason that deconstruction tends to get written that way, because I know he's thinking of Evangelion, is that the general, you have to keep something in mind. Deconstruction as its nature, the goal is to flip concepts on their head and toy with the tropes that are present within the mainstream of something. So, The Ultimates is a deconstruction of the Avengers. And a lot of characters in that were fundamentally broken, but some of them were not. Captain America was pretty much played straight. As a man from the 1940s brought into the modern world. You know? Which, of course, would mean that he would be a fan of George W. Bush, that, he would be all-American patriot, either you love it or you leave it sort of guy. That's pretty accurate in my opinion. Or at least it's pretty accurate of, one of two ways that Cap would be. The other, I think, is the classic Captain America, which is more like a libertarian character. Basically a constitutional originalist. Which is what Captain America in the 616 is supposed to be. Oddly enough, that's how Mark Waid wrote him. The thing about a deconstruction, yeah, is you're pulling everything apart and you're re-examining it. And Evangelion is probably the best example of that, because everything about you think you know about mecha and your expectations of what a mecha series is supposed to be is completely changed. And the way that you think the series is going to play out even gets turned on its head, which is part of the reason it's so brilliant. I mean, when they start getting into why the angels are attacking, shit gets real very quickly and gets very fucked up. Where it in the series basically goes from this sort of monster of the week mecha with almost like a combination of like the old Super Robot show and the seriousness of a war mecha like Gundam, but then gets flipped into basically a psychological horror.
Mm-hmm.
And that is generally the thing about it. So what it's going to do, because in this particular case, we'll use Evangelion as an example, the whiny mecha pilot who suddenly becomes a brave hero is what they are recognizing. The cocky ace pilot is what they're recognizing these tropes. The quiet member of the crew. They're recognizing what these tropes are, and they're re-examining what would make someone that way. You know, why is the whiny bitch, like an Amuro Ray, who starts off as a whiny bitch, why is he the way he is? Because they don't really explain why Amuro is the way he is. They just show him becoming a man as the show goes on. You know, and the question that Anno asks is, would it really be that easy? You know, is a slap in the face from Bright really enough to get you to get your head on straight? In most cases, not really. You know, stuff like that. Like there's these. That's generally why, is because you're examining the inside of a character a lot more deeply and basically, you know, thinking about why you think that person would be the way that they are, and whether or not it would be so simple as for them to be just a hero or something like that. So I think that that's part of just the nature of deconstruction, is that you're realizing that a lot of people, especially in situations like that, are fundamentally broken people. You know, they either have huge egos or they have huge insecurities and things like that. People who are famous, people who end up being these types of heroes, generally aren't normal. You know, like you watch Behind the Music and you can find that out about like your favorite musicians. They're not normal people. You look at Dave Mustaine's life. You know, you look at James Hetfield's and others. So you're like, whoa, what the fuck? These guys had problems. You know, but that was also why they could use their pain as a paintbrush and create something. That's generally what's examined. Now, shitty deconstruction does it for to be edgy, which is part of my problem with Mark Miller. Whereas Anno and Evangelion did it basically to get to what he examined as what he thought was the truth of why these characters would be the way that they would be, and what their real intentions would be. It's very nihilistic. It takes a lot from, and this is by his own admission, from Jean-Paul Sartre and Nietzsche and Soren Kierkegaard's existential works, and those philosophies, and examines them in the form of an anime. And I think that's why it's so interesting. If you don't, and by the way, we've actually seen this from some fans of ours, that some people don't like Evangelion because of that. If you don't like the main series and the way that it treats it, we would probably both recommend Rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
Rebuild is a bit more of a straight mecha in a lot of ways.
It is, until you get to 3.33, in which case, holy fuck. Then it gets insane.
It gets insane, but there's still a very action-oriented spin to the tale. Which keeps the plot moving. Shinji doesn't have the same insufferable moments like he does near the end of Evangelion. And by the way, one thing that I will say is that the flaw of the original series and what's addressed in the movie End of Evangelion is just how fucked up of a human being he is. Like, again, one of the first lines of End of Evangelion is, I'm so fucked up. And when you see why, you're like, whoa, he's very broken. You know? Yeah. We're Eva fans here.
Yeah.
One thing that I actually want to get, I'm not that big into the whole Funko Pop thing. Except for my little Cthulhu here that my sister got me. But there is one of Ava Unit 1 that's apparently like a bigger one. It's like 6 inches tall or something. Or it's like 8 to 12 inches tall, actually, that I do want. Or a model of Ava Unit 1 to put somewhere. You know? But once I move into like a house, probably in the near future, I plan on like taking my office and really like putting some like collector shelves in there and stuff like that along with my bookshelves. So fun times all around. All right. Well, that was the last question. So yeah, get in the fucking robot, people. Seriously.
Get in the fucking robot.
I actually did order the DVDs for Evangelion, and I'm really looking forward to having those in my collection, dude.
There you go.
Next for me is the Berserk Box of War. Like, that's the only other like real like anime DVD series that I really want is the Box of War. Yeah, needless to say, like Berserk and Evangelion and Hellsing are probably like 3 of my favorite. Well, actually, I need to get Ultimate on Blu-ray at some point. But those are like 3 of my favorite series to actually like sit down and watch. So, all right. Well, Hatman, since we are finished, do you have any final words?
Yeah. I hope to God I don't freeze to death.
Yes. We shall definitely hope for that. All right, folks. In the meantime, we're going to keep trying to get this week's entertainment podcast back up for you guys to rewatch it. So please stay tuned to the channel. We'll keep trying for you. If not, we're going to make it up to you with the anime cringe clips. Again, we just, we can't just show it. So, I mean, if nothing else, maybe I'll do a live stream at some point and just do it myself, and people can laugh at my misfortunes. So, fun times all around. So, with all that said, my name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, and I'm going to get somewhere warm.
Yes. We'll see you guys soon. Days Volt.
Days Volt.